Did you just love it? Did you just love it? Listen, they're 2-2. They're tied for first place, and they're not very good. You have to kind of like it. You're obligated to kind of like it. It's not going to take the shape that you want with this personnel, probably with this coordinator. But I came to a realization. I'm not late for my own show, Focus. I try to let some people get in here. I've got to send the text. I've got to post the post. There's a whole rigmarole. Thank you for coming. It's good to see you, Tyler, Focus. Others, see you coming in here. Don't be shy. Fire off some questions. Let's get a conversation going. Adam is confident. He feels like the team's going to get better and better as they go along, which could be the case. But I'm not sure who. I got confidence. I've got confidence in the coach. All of my confidence stems from the coach. And look, the defense made big plays today, and I think it could be a big play defense, right? I mean, you got Autry. Dupree can make some plays there. You know, Simmons was disruptive. He wasn't the playmaker today, but he, is always kind of in the mix. Obviously, Byard. You don't need me to list the guys, but the defense is capable of making plays, and it bails out some of these guys in the secondary who are giving up stuff. McCreary just couldn't handle the crossers today, particularly Mo Alley Cox, who killed them. Farley, again, looks like he's kind of fallen down on a deep ball, and he's just a disaster. But I think, we probably didn't pay enough attention to the defense today making big plays because we're offense obsessed, and the offense, goes out, gets 24 points, and then just disappears. Will's got him Super Bowl bound. So here's the conclusion I came to, and I hope you'll read my column in which I say this. If they were scoring 24 in the second half, if they came out and didn't do anything in the first half and they scored 24 in the second half, we'd be like, well, they're figuring things out and they're building. And we just feel better about it because that pattern is better. But if you really think about it, does it matter where the points come? Like they scored 24 points. They got the 3 turnovers, caused the fourth, Ryan had another fumble that the Colts recovered. But if you really think about it, I've been really thinking about it. It doesn't matter where the 24 come from as long as the 24 are enough to win with. And I didn't feel like they shut it down. I mean, do you honestly think this offense is going to play 4 steady quarters where it produces over the course of the game? If I told you they were going to score 24 today, you probably would have taken it because Matt Ryan's shaky. You think they're going to control Jonathan Taylor. You don't think the Colts are scoring 24. I don't know. Maybe you do. I think the Colts have done themselves a huge disservice because they didn't do enough at wide receiver, much like the Titans didn't do enough at wide receiver. But outside of Pittman, the Colts have nothing that scares me at wide receiver. And so I don't think the Colts are scoring 25 against the Titans. If you had told me the Titans were going to score 24, I would have said the Titans are going to win. And so I don't know that it matters when they scored the 24. I mean, it's a less attractive game the way they played it. And it's a bad habit. But I wrote the numbers. I mean, last year their scoring differential was, I think, plus 60 something in the first half, and it was plus 2 in the second half, and they went 12-5. So, I'd like it to balance out for sure. And they need to be able to drive and score at the end of a close game. Certainly, they will need to. But I don't think it matters as much as we're making it out to be. And there's going to be ebb and flow. We know about ebb and flow with this team. And if they could put together a stretch where they score points in bunches, more power to them, no matter when it comes. All right. There's my monologue. Jay asks about Henry. Is it time to rethink taking him off the field? I still think Hilliard's a much more dangerous pass catcher. Hilliard could catch passes like this, facing the ball over his shoulder. Derrick Henry still catches a limited set of passes, and he dropped 2 passes today. So if they get him exactly the right kind of pass in exactly the right situation, which is what they're doing, he's dangerous, because if he turns and gets going, especially, I mean, it's funny to watch play action, where they fake hand it to him. And then once they realize it's not been handed to him, the defense seems to be like, all right, we're off the hook on Henry. And then they throw it to him, 5 yards further downfield. And he's great. It's an interesting question, but he's still not, and he had a great sequence. I should have gone back and written about this. It's one thing I had in my notes and I didn't do. Great sequence where he had a big run. He had a great pass protection snap that allowed, was it Chig's play? Did Chig have a play that got by the goal line, but wasn't a touchdown? And then I can't remember whose play it was. And then he went and scored. It was a really good 3-play sequence from him. Everybody's asking these same questions, Dwayne. He says, I don't understand how Henry ran for 99 yards at half and then basically nothing in the second half. I mean, it's kind of crazy. Austin Hooper, Robert asks about, I mean, I'm no professional tape watcher, but he's just not, I don't think he's getting open. And I don't think they're looking to him. The way that everybody imagined and envisioned in camp, another example of camp deception, because I came out of camp feeling certain that this guy was going to be a key cog for them. And it just isn't. I mean, there is no key cog for them, which, I really still think it'd be ideal if there was one guy. Special teams did play pretty well today, Ed Henry. I'm trying to think, there was one nitpick I had on it, but I can't remember. Well, D-Will, playing all 4 quarters are going to matter in the playoffs. I mean, I don't have much hope for this team in the playoffs, not as much as you, clearly. The other thing I would say is, I mean, there's going to be ebb and flow over the course of the 4 quarters, but I would say this: you can come out high and dip, but you got to recover again. And this team is, coming out high and then dipping and then, just taking what it got early. Ebb and flow means there's a wave to it. Right now, it's all, up and then down, and then that's it offensively. And that's not going to cut it. Burks was on crutches and in a boot, the report from the locker room. I obviously am in my home office. I did not go to Indianapolis today. I just didn't think it was wise, though. My COVID kind of cleared up after 4 days of massive headache. So I'm good now, and I'll be back full go tomorrow. Yeah, the end of the half sequence just sucked. And Tannehill said basically, I don't know what happened. Well, what happened is you fucked it up, Ryan. I mean, you've got to either you have to get a first down. If you're running, you have to get a first down. You can't run if you're not getting a first down. You have to throw for a first down. Then you guys can get back and clock it, and there's no issue. Anything that doesn't get you a first down has to get out of bounds. And it was a 3rd and 1, right? So you're expecting to get a yard. If you can't not get the yard, period, then it's on you. I mean, I guess it's good that Rice was out there. Obviously I wasn't out there. I didn't see what he did. I don't know the degree. Nobody knows the degree of the Achilles injury he suffered. I don't think Monty Rice is anything special, but I think he's got to be better than Dylan Cole, Joe Schobert, and the people that they've been rolling out with Zach Cunningham, who hasn't played very well, out. the people behind the starting two behind Long and Cunningham. So they need help. They never have everybody. And defense, they're just rolling too many bodies out. They had 12 men on the field for defense once today. I think there are communication issues going on when McCreary can't get across on those crossers with Allie Cox. There wasn't major traffic. And the one guy that was in his way on the one that was a touchdown wasn't really in his way. That's more him like feeling like somebody's in his way than somebody being in his way, but from my read of watching it. They don't have any depth at either position here. Bigger loss, Burks or Dupree. Did Dupree not finish the game? Dupree, I didn't see that Dupree didn't finish the game. He's got a hip that's an issue. Hollister was down to 11 snaps today, and I think he probably got a couple of snaps after Burks. Burks is an idiot not to get off the field. You either get off the field or you take a knee. There's 13 minutes left in the fourth quarter, so Hollister got some snaps after that for sure. Otherwise, his snaps would have been down to a reasonable level on offense, like 5. And that's the direction they should be going. But now Burks is going to miss time, and they're going to be back to playing slow receivers who are not threatening to people. So that was a fiasco by Burks. You have to know what you have to do, and you're not going to impress anybody by staying on the field if you can't put weight on your leg and you have to hop on a crucial third down. It's ridiculous. You're playing 10 on 11. That doesn't score points with anybody. That loses you points. It's a foolish play. Foolish. Yeah. There's too much of this going on, Sabine. The game management perspective, that clock gaff, there were 12 men on the field. The penalties weren't that much. I think it was like 6 for 40 yards, but then there were a couple that were declined. You had Burks not knowing what to do in that situation. It doesn't feel like a confident, smart, disciplined, in control team. And you say some of that as well, all these new guys rolling through. Well, there were a ton of new guys rolling through last year, world record. And they managed to be disciplined. Tannehill says, I don't know what happened when he's the root cause of them missing 3 points that they should have had at the end of the half. That's discouraging. I get the sense it was like, I don't want to deal with answering this right now, but that's poor leadership. So, but they don't have that feel about them by any means. And usually that trickles down from Vrabel. That would be my big concern if I was a fan right now, or one of them for sure. Robert, are you down there? Is everything okay? Robert says first game he hasn't seen in 20 years, thanks to Hurricane Ian in Fort Myers. We hope you're all right down there. Certainly way more important than football. You missed a mediocre performance. Let me emphasize, I think part of the reason the Titans win this game is because the Colts suck. And I know the Jaguars lost to Philadelphia. I think Philadelphia is pretty good. And I think, they may be the Titans' main obstacle to the AFC South crown. And I think the AFC South crown is not going to mean that much in context of the other good teams around the conference. And just, the Colts and the Jaguars, at least the Jaguars are on the ascent. But these teams, to me, do not measure, how the Titans will be against Buffalo, who we saw smoke them, or Kansas City, who they have coming up on a Sunday night, or, Chargers if Herbert's healthy, or Miami if Tua's healthy, or the top NFC North teams, Baltimore, Cincinnati. I just don't think it's the same. Yeah, I don't know about that Theo Jackson move. Maybe they were waiting on to see about somebody else. Where is that? Maybe they were waiting to see about somebody else, or maybe it helps him get paid and they were doing him a favor. I'm confused here, Ed. The running game needs to get better in the second half. You would think this team would benefit from getting out to big leads, built to play from in front. Well, they played from in front today and they won by a touchdown, right? I mean, winning by a touchdown in the NFL is not bad, unless you're playing somebody horrific. And there aren't too many teams that qualify as horrific. So they should run better in the second half with that lead. I would agree with that. But when it really mattered, and they needed the 4 minutes to make sure that the Colts didn't get the ball back and challenge them, they did it. Henry and that creative play to Chig got it done, and they got to kneel it out. I thought really maybe the biggest play of the game in a lot of ways was that last takeaway. Who was that with the last takeaway? The Colts were down by the 25-yard line, right? They were driving and they were feeling pretty good. And I thought they were going to score there and we were going to see overtime at best. And how much time was left there? Let me go find it. 8:49 when Taylor ran right guard from and he gained a yard to the 23. And that's when Schobert popped that ball out and Christian Fulton recovered. And that turned out to basically seal it up. That's a big play right there by Schobert. Titans ate up from 8:40 to about 5 minutes left. And the Colts on that next possession didn't do much with it. They tried a 51-yard field goal, no good, wide left. I don't know. It's 4th and 21, so it's not like they could go for it there, but they needed to do better. They ran for no gain on the 1st and 10, -3 on a pass to Hines. Then they're in 3rd and 13, and he got sacked by Autry. And that was it, that 51-yard field goal. And then the Titans managed to kill it. They get killed out the rest of the game. So that Schobert / Fulton takeaway was really big. Really big. Bud not on the field, hurting the pass rush. Got to always kind of include Landry. So once Bud's not out there, then you're talking, Weaver's your top guy on the field at that point, and he's your third. Was Dupree? When's the last we saw Dupree? He's kind of. I don't want to call him injury prone because last year it was all the knee. Well, Scott, I don't know. Where's the other example of this outside of Farley? Caleb Farley's the clear example of this. Scott's asking, do I think there are issues between Vrabel and Robinson? I don't. But he says Vrabel opts to play practice squad guys instead of high draft picks when both are equally as bad. We don't know how they practice for starters. Terrence Mitchell isn't a practice squad guy. He's a guy with some experience. He's not good. I agree with you. I'd rather see Farley, though. You see Farley for a snap today, get beat deep, and he looks worse than Mitchell. And they were both on the field today. Farley was part of nickel. But give me another example, Scott. I'll look for you in the more recent comments. Phillips did not hardly play at all today. Somebody's asking about him. I think he's probably still a little beat up and maybe has fallen out of favor. Williams asking about missing Indy. I like going to Indy. I don't like driving on trips. If it was a flight, I probably would have had an easier time. I sometimes have a hard time with doctors diagnosing stuff off of TV. Somebody, NFL doc, saying Liz Frank for Burks. That would be awful, obviously. Yeah, bad drafts are killing them right now. I mean, John Robinson's way more on the hook for the problems that they're having than Mike Vrabel is. Way more rookies playing, Ed Henry points out. True, and have to bring them off. Somebody's talking about Chig, Facebook user. Yeah, he makes plays when he gets his chance, but that doesn't mean, give him a million more chances in their eyes. That means, okay, guy's doing well with his little bit, and everybody needs to do well with their little bit. Will, I have no idea why they're so good at scoring early, particularly the first drive stuff is crazy. Josh says the play is so bad in the second half, makes it hard to enjoy the win. Robert, who's from the Fort Myers area, says he made it out okay, but our community is devastated. 7 bridges impassable, beach establishments completely gone. Very sad. Excuse me. Robert, I'm really sorry to hear that. I know so many people impacted by it down there. It's heartbreaking to see it on TV. I can't imagine being in the middle of it. We're thinking about you, and hope everything gets better as fast as possible for you and for everybody down there. I actually think D. Will's asking. I think Dennis Daly's done a reasonably good job. I keep calling him Dennis Dillon, who was a professor of mine in college, a very good one. Hobbsy's asking about Reich's seat. I think Reich did a lot to help himself against the Chiefs 2 weeks ago. If he didn't get fired after the Jags game, I think he's got himself some time. Oh, yeah. It said Schobert in the book, but it was Weaver who forced that fumble, I think. Frank Reich's not a good coach. Josh, I'm never home on Sundays unless the Titans are playing on a Monday night. So on the occasion that they're playing on a Monday night, like that Buffalo game, I sat in a Buffalo hotel room and watched Red Zone all afternoon. It was terrific. But outside of that, it's just not part of my Sunday repertoire if the Titans are playing. So well, there's specific questions I would have liked to have asked and had answered. Guys I would have liked to approach on my own, maybe away from the crowd, or gotten involved with. I would have liked to have pressed Tannehill more, say, like when he said, I don't know what happened on the play right before the end of the first half. I would have said, I would have restated what happened or pressed him on that, because I think it's crazy that he didn't know what happened. I think that's fair, Ed. He doesn't like guys who are out of position. If you're in position, you know what you're doing. You may not be doing it well, but if you're out of position, it means you don't know what you're doing. Well, Ben Haller is a good point, but McCreary didn't exactly play great today. It's a little early to focus. I mean, Farley's arrow is pointing down, but you can't make a declaration on him yet. J-Rob's not going anywhere. I mean, I don't understand. Why should they play him? Who should they be playing, Scott? Tell me who they should be playing Dylan Radins over. I'm for Merritt. All right. I mean, I can understand you having some beef in the secondary because the guys look closely bunched, but who's Dylan Radins better than that's playing right now? I don't believe you should play a draft pick because he's a draft pick if the guys in front of him are playing better. He's not as good as Petit Frere, and he's not as good as Dennis Daly. So he shouldn't be playing. He shouldn't be dressing, frankly. I think the Mets are natural chokers, but it would hurt more to lose to the Mets. Well, you hang in there, Robert. Everybody in here is with me and offering our support for what that's worth. I mean, Ben, I don't think there's a big adjustment to a game plan with Burks out. How many times did they target Burks when he was in? I mean, I could go answer that. They gave him the ball on an end around. What'd they throw to him? I'm going to guess once. Maybe I'm way off. I threw to him 3 times. He caught 2 balls for 14 yards. I mean, I don't think that calls for some major adjustment. They'll put Hollister in and they'll throw, they'll throw hopefully more to Phillips, who I hope is doing better. But, we want Burks to progress, but it's not like him being off is off. I thought Vrabel was in a pretty good and talkative mood for after a win, which is not usually the way he operates. Yeah, I think Lawan's time is probably up. The problem is the people that you need to find a new left tackle for the Titans are John Robinson and his staff, and Vrabel, who's got a say in it. I don't have any faith in that. Now maybe Petit Frere, moves to left tackle, and they need to find a right tackle again. Yes, Titans searching for a right tackle. Fantastic. Dwayne says he threw 21 times, 9 to running backs, 8 to receivers, 4 to tight ends. That could just be the Titans now. There's nobody out on the street to sign. Josh Gordon is the guy off the street that they signed. That's the guy, Robert. Adam, that might be the case with Burks, but it was 2 catches and it was 3 throws. Let's not act like, they got to replace 9 targets. They don't. It's really nothing. They're replacing barely anything. And a guy who doesn't know to check out of the game when he's hurt. A guy who doesn't know to check out of the game when he's hurt. I can't stand that. I mean, that just drives me crazy. Drives me crazy. Any more? Take 1 or 2. I got to eat some dinner. I haven't eaten anything. I'm starving. Are you not starving out there? Do you people not eat? I bet you've eaten. I bet all of you have eaten something, haven't you? Admit it. Admit it. You've eaten. I know you have. I know you've eaten. Could he have gotten out of bounds on that play? That's not his fault. 3rd and 1, you get a first down, and then you clock the ball, and everything's fine. So I think it's taken a little far if we're blaming him for it. That's what I think. All right. Somebody had an egg sandwich and yogurt. Oh, were you trying to say Munchak when you wrote that crazy word? As far as I know, he's not employed, and they should absolutely be hiring him as a consultant, but I don't know if their egos would allow it or if he would want to work for them. So we shall see. Hey, I appreciate all of you. Don't block the box. Do lock the locks. Check out Outkick 360 tomorrow, 2 to 5 Central Time. We'll talk about this game. We'll talk about all the games. And I'll see you soon. Go read the column at paulkowarski.com. I appreciate your loyalty and your membership and all of that. And thanks for bearing with me during COVID last week. I appreciate it very much. Take care. Be well. Enjoy the win. Ugliness in the win, but it was a win.